What if everything you've been taught about security is actually keeping you poor? What if the stability you've been chasing is the very thing preventing your financial breakthrough? Napoleon Hill, after 20 years studying the most successful individuals of his era, issued a warning that contradicts everything conventional wisdom teaches us: the pursuit of stability is often the surest path to poverty. Let me show you how this paradox operates in your life right now. That safe job you're clinging to, the one with the predictable paycheck, the benefits package, the illusion of security, is systematically eroding your wealth potential. Not because there's anything wrong with having a job, but because the mindset required to maintain that stability is incompatible with the mindset required to create real wealth. The employee mindset focuses on preserving what you have, while the wealth creator mindset focuses on building what you don't yet have. One is defensive, the other offensive. One minimizes risk, the other manages and leverages risk. One seeks comfort, the other embraces productive discomfort. The mathematics of stability reveals why it's so financially dangerous. When you choose a stable income, you're accepting a fundamental limitation: your earnings are capped by the number of hours you can work and the value someone else places on those hours. There's a ceiling, and no amount of hard work within that system will break through it. Meanwhile, inflation continues silently eating away at whatever stability you've achieved. The dollar you saved last year is worth less today, and will be worth even less tomorrow. Stability in an unstable system is an illusion. It's like trying to stand still on a moving treadmill that's gradually increasing its speed. But here's what makes stability particularly insidious: it feels so virtuous. Showing up every day, being reliable, following instructions, these are qualities society rewards and celebrates. Meanwhile, the entrepreneur taking calculated risks, the innovator challenging conventions, the visionary pursuing unconventional paths, these individuals are often viewed with suspicion, their journeys seen as reckless rather than revolutionary. We've been conditioned to believe that stability equals responsibility, when in reality, true responsibility might require abandoning stability in pursuit of something greater. Napoleon Hill identified what he called the 3 stability traps that keep most people financially constrained throughout their lives. The first is the income trap, the belief that a steady paycheck is the safest path to financial security. The second is the knowledge trap, the assumption that your current education and skills are sufficient for a lifetime of earnings. The third is the comfort trap, the preference for familiar struggles over unfamiliar opportunities. Each trap reinforces the others, creating a psychological prison that feels like safety but operates like captivity. Let me introduce you to Sarah, a client who embodied the stability paradox. She had what most would consider an ideal situation: a stable government job with excellent benefits, full pension eligibility after 25 years, and virtually zero risk of layoffs. Yet at 45, she found herself financially stagnant, watching inflation outpace her guaranteed raises, realizing her pension wouldn't provide the life she wanted, and feeling completely trapped because walking away from such security seemed unthinkable. Her stability had become her prison. What Sarah discovered, and what Hill's research confirms, is that true security doesn't come from clinging to stability but from developing competence and adaptability. The wealthy understand that in a rapidly changing world, the ability to learn, adapt, and create value in new ways is the only real security. Job security has been replaced by skills security. Income security has been replaced by value creation security. This brings us to what Hill called the security paradox. The more you seek external security, the less internal security you develop. When you rely on a company for your paycheck, a government for your retirement, or a system for your safety, you're outsourcing your security. The wealthy take complete ownership of their security by developing their skills, their networks, their creativity, and their ability to create value regardless of external circumstances. Now, let's examine the neuroscience behind why stability is so seductive. Your brain is wired to prefer predictable outcomes over unpredictable ones, even when the unpredictable outcomes offer significantly greater rewards. This is known as the certainty bias. When you choose stability, you're giving your brain what it naturally craves: predictability. Meanwhile, your brain interprets uncertainty as threat, triggering avoidance mechanisms that feel like intuition but are actually just biological programming. The wealthy have either overcome this programming or learned to recognize it and act anyway. But here's the hopeful truth: your brain can be retrained. What feels threatening today can feel exciting tomorrow. The uncertainty that triggers fear can be reframed as possibility. This isn't positive thinking, it's neurological reprogramming through consistent exposure and conscious reframing. Hill developed what he called the stability audit, a systematic process for evaluating how much your pursuit of stability is costing you. The audit examines 5 key areas: income streams, skill development, network diversity, adaptability quotient, and opportunity cost. Most people who complete this audit discover they're paying a stability tax of 40 to 70% of their wealth potential, the difference between what they're earning in their stable situation and what they're capable of earning by embracing intelligent uncertainty. Let me give you Hill's framework for what he called strategic destabilization, the deliberate process of introducing calculated uncertainty into your life to stimulate growth and opportunity. This isn't about being reckless, it's about being strategically uncomfortable. The first component is income diversification. This doesn't mean getting a second job, it means creating multiple streams of value creation. The wealthy rarely rely on a single income source. They have active income, passive income, portfolio income, and intellectual property income. Each stream represents both a financial asset and a learning opportunity. The second component is skill expansion. While most people are specializing deeper into their stable careers, the wealthy are broadening their skill sets across domains. They're learning marketing, sales, communication, leadership, and financial literacy, skills that are valuable across multiple contexts and industries. The third component is network development. Stable situations often lead to stable networks. You interact with the same people facing the same challenges. Strategic destabilization requires deliberately expanding your network to include people who think differently, challenge your assumptions, and operate in different worlds. The fourth component is opportunity cultivation. The wealthy don't wait for opportunities, they create them. They understand that opportunity isn't something you find but something you build through preparation, action, and persistence. The fifth component is what Hill considered the master skill, adaptability training. This is the deliberate practice of becoming comfortable with uncertainty. It might involve taking on projects outside your expertise, traveling to unfamiliar places, or regularly questioning your own assumptions. Now, let's address the most common objection: but I have responsibilities. I can't just abandon stability. This is where most people misunderstand strategic destabilization. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. You start by building what I call your wealth creation engine alongside your stable situation. You dedicate time, even if it's just 30 minutes daily, to building your skills, your network, and your opportunities. As your wealth creation engine grows, it gradually reduces your dependence on your stability source. I want to share Michael's story because it illustrates this transition perfectly. Michael was a tenured professor, the epitome of stability. He loved teaching but felt financially constrained and creatively stagnant. Instead of abandoning his position, he began using his summers and weekends to develop online courses based on his expertise. Within 2 years, his side income surpassed his professor's salary. More importantly, he had developed new skills, built a global network, and discovered opportunities he never knew existed. His stability became the foundation for his growth rather than the ceiling on it. This brings us to what Hill called the bridge strategy, using your current stability as a platform to build your future freedom. Your stable job isn't the enemy, it's the bridge. It provides the financial runway to experiment, the mental space to learn, and the basic security to take calculated risks. The problem isn't stability itself, it's stability as the end goal rather than the starting point. Over the next 30 days, I challenge you to implement what I call the destabilization protocol. Each day, you'll practice 3 simple disciplines. First, morning uncertainty exposure. Do one thing that feels slightly uncomfortable but moves you toward growth. Second, skill stretching. Spend 15 minutes learning something completely unrelated to your current work. Third, network expanding. Reach out to one person who thinks differently than your usual circle. What you'll discover is what Hill described as the Great Awakening. The security you've been seeking externally has been available internally all along. It's in your ability to learn, adapt, and create value. It's in your resilience and resourcefulness. It's in your capacity to turn uncertainty into opportunity. The person who achieves financial freedom isn't necessarily smarter or more talented than you. They've simply recognized that in a world of constant change, the only true stability is growth. The only real security is competence. The only reliable safety net is your own adaptability. Your journey from stability seeking to wealth creating begins not with a dramatic leap but with a simple recognition. Every moment you spend preserving what you have is a moment you're not building what you could have. The stability that feels like safety is actually the riskiest position of all. It's betting your financial future on a system that has no obligation to protect you. The wealthy understand what Hill discovered decades ago: fortune favors the bold because the bold are constantly learning, adapting, and creating. They're not waiting for stability, they're building it from the inside out, through competence rather than compliance, through creation rather than preservation. Your financial breakthrough won't come from finding a more stable situation. It will come from recognizing that stability and wealth are often opposing forces, and having the courage to choose growth over comfort, possibility over predictability, and internal security over external promises. The choice is yours: continue seeking the false security of stability, or begin building the genuine security that comes from competence, creativity, and courage. The path to wealth isn't about finding safer ground, it's about becoming the kind of person who can create value on any ground. Welcome to the real security of wealth creation.